So, I played Omori for the first time recently. I played it completely blind too, as God intended. I had heard great things about it from two people. My partner, Matt, who also bought the game for me, probably because they like to see me cry, and my bestest friend in the whole world, Taffy. This is also Taffy's second favorite game, behind Five Nights at Freddy's: Into the Pit. So they would love to see me play the game. Knowing that, I did the smart thing of not telling them when I started streaming my playthrough of it, because that's being a good friend. Anyway, both those wonderful people watched as I went on this depressing journey of sadness with a touch of comedy, so you get pulled back just before you want to cry into your pillow. And now, I'm forcing you to go on that journey in an engaging way, going over the gameplay and story as it unfolds, while also giving my thoughts and analysis of both. Welcome to Chapter 1 of my Omori commentary. Wait, before we start, I do need to place some warnings. In fact, I'm just going to read the warnings that play when you first enter the game. This warning not only applies to the stuff I'll be discussing about the game, but also to the stuff I'll connect to my real-life experiences that this game connected to for me. Caution: this game contains depictions of depression, anxiety, suicide, and may not be suitable for all audiences. That's how you know you need to prepare for some tears to come. It also contains bright, flashing imagery that may cause discomfort and/or seizures for those with photosensitive epilepsy. Viewer discretion is advised. There are a lot of big topics in this, like self-harm, so please be prepared and take a break from the video if you need to. While I try to stay light in most of my videos, I do want to go over these topics seriously and with care. So, like the game itself, my videos might get increasingly heavier. Alright, disclaimer over, and you have been warned. Now you can start. According to the About This Game section at steampowered.com, in Omori you explore a strange world full of colorful friends and foes. Navigate through the vibrant and the mundane in order to uncover a forgotten past. When the time comes, the path you've chosen will determine your fate, and perhaps the fate of others as well. But if you're like me, you never read that and didn't know that at all. I only knew 3 things about Omori going into it. It's an RPG, it's depressing, and it's a psychological horror game. Really, that's the big 3 pillars of the game too, so you may think I know a lot, but as you'll notice very quickly, I had no idea what I was getting into. Now, about that psychological horror part. The game can be scary in an unsettling to your brain way, meaning I definitely am not about to scream or jump at some jump scares. Definitely. Knowing that, I was very excited to jump into it, since horror games are a genre in which I have touched very little, and I'm not sure I've ever played a psychological horror game, unless you count the Five Nights at Freddy's 6th level in Super Mario Maker 2, which I hold the world record on, not to brag. I was truly wondering if a game could force me to feel a sense of fear or dread from it. And with the hype around it from my friends, I was also wondering whether it would live up to my expectations. Yeah. Does it say birth certificate? Yep, this is gonna make me cry. The game starts with the reassurance that everything will be okay, and a promise that we have to agree to, that we'll always be here for each other. I can't make that promise. One of us could die or something. Now, who am I making that promise to? Well, this kid with a flower in their head. But who are they? I don't know yet. And I don't make promises to strangers, so sorry, but no. After that, we get welcomed into White Space, which I'll explain more about later when we can actually discuss what's going on. For now though, I want to mention that I really like this hand-drawn animation style. It has this sketchbook style, almost as if someone just drew it in a journal, which makes it feel almost homey and friendly at first. It also feels personal, like we're peering into someone's journal during school and seeing the inner workings of their mind that they doodle onto their page. I really like this style and think that it helps add to the overall aesthetic of the story, as I can detail more of it later. Then we get thrust into the actual game. Omori, during its exploration, is a 2D pixel art game. Its simplicity is supposed to create a sense of nostalgia, to bring the player back to their childhood. Not just the player though, but the main character we play as too. For reasons we'll discuss later. We're going to be discussing a lot of stuff later, and if I don't go into depth on anything at this point, it's likely because I'll discuss it later. The room we start in is just this white room, which feels small yet weirdly large at the same time. It creates a strangely comfortable yet creepy atmosphere, which the music matches. The music has this playful rhythm and beat to it, yet it also feels rather sad and weird. White space manages to feel somewhat homey due to this, but a home that doesn't feel right after some time in it. It excellently showcases this game's aesthetic, of which it takes inspiration from Earthbound, with this home-like feeling and the tiniest drop of an unsettling feel. That unsettling feeling will, as you probably know, since it's a psychological horror game, expand as the game progresses, as it will begin to take over the home-like feeling. Everything in this room also captures that unsettling feeling, and even a sad feeling that the music helps orchestrate. Like a tissue box for wiping your— I'm already fucking this up. Your sorrows away. The journal on your computer that just repeats itself constantly with no clues on what the day even is. And the most unsettling of your belongings is the notebook. The notebook does that hand-drawn style that cutscenes do, but the drawing here's are rather disturbing. This is like if that previously mentioned kid drawing in his notebook was going through some major mental problems. This doesn't feel like it's just some kid's imagination taking on a horror theme. The drawings feel truly eerie in a way that makes you feel sad for our main character, as it's clear even from here he needs some mental help. Can't wait to see what you add to this page. After reading the notebook, something falls nearby, as I learn I can't go through the door. I wander around the strange endlessness of white space, discovering these red hands that, if touched, return you to the home area. These hands represent something themselves that, once again, we have to wait to discuss later. But you can see some red hands in that notebook we looked at as well. There's also this light that is black, but you can't do anything with it yet besides stare at it. Anyways, in the far-off white area, we find the thing that falls, which is a knife. A thing every kid should have. Oh yeah, it's clear we're a kid at this point, based on the opening cutscene. Our little image at the bottom of this menu thing also says our name is Omori. That's the name of the game!
Oh, that's why they call it that.
After grabbing that knife, we are now able to enter that door and leave our strangely creepy home and enter a colorful world. That's right, not everything here is black and white, it's just us. And the world outside, including its people, is all full of colors, immediately contrasting with the opening area and Omori himself. This place is called Headspace, and we will spend quite a lot of time here in its many areas. We also meet 3 other characters, who are our party members in this adventure. Aubrey. Hi, Omori. We were hoping that you'd come by soon. Kel. Oh man, what the heck, Aubrey? And Hiro. Hey there, Cal. There's no need to get angry. They all have their own unique personalities too, as we will learn throughout our adventure, making them not one-note characters, but feel real, as this happiness feels a little strange and almost fake. We quickly learn that Kel and Aubrey also have these little fights, almost like they're siblings. It helps this group of friends almost feel like family, despite them picking on each other. On top of that, it sets up Hiro as the older brother of this family, or hell, even dad of the group, as his talking to them manages to de-escalate things between the two, something that will become more prevalent much later in the adventure. Omori doesn't talk, which is pretty common for the protagonist of RPGs. It's meant to make the player feel as though it's themselves more, despite them often looking and being nothing like us. It can lead to the protagonist not having much of a personality or emotions themselves, besides the ones we, the player, put onto them from ourselves. But here I think we still see Omori's emotions regardless, mostly through the environment and his interactions with it. Take his notebook and the tissue box for example. He's clearly a sad boy with some possibly deep-seated mental issues, and we were able to pick up on that without any dialogue from him. The game manages to make Omori not talking not take away from his character's feelings, and in fact adds a lot to the story's deeper themes, that we will learn about later. I mean, for right now we know he's sad, hence the crying text with the tissues, so it's understandable for him to be silent. I know I personally will tend to just go completely mute when going through some deeply sad emotions myself. Hiro lets us know that Marie and Basil invited us to a picnic at the playground. I have no idea who those people are, but if this cool guy knows them, then they must be fine. This is when the 3 join our party and move behind us in typical RPG fashion. Our snake mom gives us some money because we've been a good monochrome boy. Here is your allowance for today. It's my mama's snake. We leave the house, which we learn was a stump. Living in the stump has some surprisingly major significance behind it that I believe can represent two different things, which we will not discuss for a long time. Kel's canon voice, as I'm the canon voice actor, changes here. Oh yeah, fresh air at last. Got to love the nature. And it certainly won't be the last time that happens. Trust me, you'll enjoy the voice we land on for him, and find it very fitting. We're supposed to head south, but the game decides to overwhelm me by showing me 4 other directions to go. I get very overwhelmed with multiple paths in games for reasons I don't even really know. Give me a straight path like a 2D Mario, and I'm zooming through that shit. But present me with a choice, and I'm like, maybe we do first to 3. The easiest solution for me here is just to go the way the story wants me to. So I head south to this supposed playground. The playground is filled with a variety of interesting looking characters. Besides these 2 normal looking losers on the left, who are coincidentally sitting on a picnic blanket, and thus I'm sure hold no real significance to the plot of this game or our current objective. These 2 are obviously Marie and Basil. We quickly learn Marie clearly has a thing for this hero fellow.
Get up, hero. Look at you being all responsible. I really like that about you.
My dumbass also pronounces both these new characters' names wrong at first.
Mary, Basil.
I quickly fix Basil's, but Marie I will continue to mess up to this day. We learn that Basil has a photo album. He only likes taking pics of people naturally, though, and not when they expect it. We look through the photo album and find some incredibly adorable photos, and also some silly ones of this friend group. It really helps to further establish this group of friends as really close right from the start, without the need of explaining that through dialogue and hoping the audience feels the connection. Now, I do think I felt that connection from the dialogue already, hence why I commented the friends felt like family before, so the photo album here just furthers to cement that and makes it feel like we've been friends for quite some time. You can also read the caption of each photo, which also helps to further establish the personality of each of the characters. But just looking at the photos themselves also helps with that. Basil also reveals he's a gardener and has just finished planting some flowers at his house that he wants to show us. I immediately decide Basil is my favorite. Not sure why. I do think he's the most adorable of the group and has the best color palette, so that could be it. But I just seem to be drawn to him at this beginning moment. And as the journey continues, that ensnarement just grows. Perhaps it's his personality. Even from the first interaction, I see him as shy, kind, and caring. He clearly loves his friends, hence the pictures, and the planting of flowers helps to further that warm feeling you get from him. It's a personality that feels so inviting. I can't decide if he's someone I want to be friends with or someone I see myself as, a discussion I'll continue to have internally and share as the plot progresses. Mari does decide to stay behind and lets us know we can stop by her picnics anytime. The picnics act as a safe place where we can heal the party, save, or just have a picnic and get some more dialogue from the group. I try to talk to all the people here at the playground too, including this nose fella, but am really interrupted by this nerd who wants to play hide and seek. Basil, being the kind person he is, doesn't turn down the idea, despite us being on our way to his garden. This little mini-game does further to show the vibrancy, colorfulness, and just overall happy vibe this world gives off. As you can imagine, this will make the psychological horror part we know is coming all the more contrasting, and thus stand out more as it should for what this game is going for. We find everyone in this game of hide and seek, except Basil. We try to tell Basil he can come out, but turns out he has been captured by a scary guy named Boss. This is the game's way to introduce us and teach us the combat. The combat brings back that lively hand-drawn style from before, with some color to it, besides Omori. In combat, each character can choose to attack, use one of their skills, use a snack, or use a toy. Attacks just does a basic attack with the character's weapon. Skills are special abilities unique to each character. Snacks are essentially the potions that heal us or give us our energy back or do more things like that. Toys are items that let us do a variety of things, like damaging enemies or utilizing the emotions gimmick. Oh, we can also run. About that emotion thing, I do choose to use a skill to make Omori sad just to see what it does, and I'm not sure what it did. The emotion combat isn't really explained in this fight, but it will be later, and it is my favorite part of the combat in this game. Probably because it's the main and most unique feature. Not only can we utilize emotions, but the villains can too. When he's close to being defeated, Boss manages to basically one-shot us all. But this is to have us learn that Omori has basically an infinite endurer, allowing him to survive one fatal hit each fight. As a result, he stays standing, and we manage to defeat Boss, and save our favorite friend Basil. See, the game knows he was gonna be our favorite, which is why they had him be captured. So we would truly want to murder this guy. We're still in the happy part of this game though, so we don't murder him, and Basil basically forgives him as we squash our beef and everyone is happy and wins. This obviously continues to help the game feel vibrant and happy for now, and promotes Basil's kindness as he essentially forgives this guy immediately. Basil's just the best, but this kind of attitude and wanting to always help others plays a huge role in the plot. With that problem solved, we can actually head south to Basil's house. We also pass by a shop where you can buy snacks and toys for the fights, as well as sell things. Good thing my mom gave me money because I got some expensive apple juice and candy to buy. Pretty sure this creepy guy's scamming kids at the park. I mean, hiding inside a mailbox at a public park is pretty creepy. And I bought candy from him. Well, I should be fine. We arrive at Basil's flowers. He loves flowers. I bet you couldn't tell based on the flower crown he had. Each patch of flowers he has reminds him of someone in our friend group. The sunflowers remind him of himself, or at least how he wants to be.
That's how I want to be like. Someone who always sees the bright side of things.
Lilies of the valley remind him of Marie, because
It's said that they're able to ward off evil spirits and help people see a brighter future.
And before we can learn the rest, we run into a sprout mole rampaging. The little turd is hurting the flowers and then charges us, starting our second fight. We learn a bit about the previously mentioned emotion mechanism here as well, because the mole sprout is angry. Hero lets us know that anger makes the user's attack power higher, at the cost of a lower defense. Due to the slow defense, we are able to take it out before it even gets a turn. Now back to Basil's flowers, which are more important than learning about combat. Gladulus? I don't know. Flowers remind him of Aubrey,
Because she's always true to herself.
as these flowers represent. The roses remind him of Hero. Each color rose has its own meaning, but Basil believes Hero is like them all.
Because he's versatile and universally loved.
Alright, just killing my flowers left. I can't wait to see what flower I am, and there's another sprout mole to fight. This one is happy, meaning it has a higher chance to hit our weak spots and do some damage. I make him sad, not really understanding the mechanism right, but I do learn that an enemy being sad makes them lose some juice over HP every time I hit them, which obviously applies to us if we're sad too. I still managed to take out the sprout mole in one round. After the fight, Hero explains the rock, paper, scissorness of the three emotions. He also draws a very convenient guide, so I'll never forget it. This chart also shows what each emotion does in terms of stats. We arrive to some cactuses, which stupid idiot Kel doesn't know what they are. They, of course, remind Basil of Kel, because he's a prick. That's the only reason. No, they are also...
Very sturdy and resilient plants by nature.
Next are white tulips, which are, of course, me. I can't wait to hear what deeper meaning he gets from me.
Plain, simple, and bulbous. Just like Omori.
Oh, I feel hurt. I played it simple. I don't think this guy even knows me. We obviously meet another sprout mole to show off sadness, which I had already concluded the changes that emotion produces on my own, and the chart helped too. Now I can use the rock, paper, scissors mechanic here by making Omori angry, so he's stronger against the sadness, which helps us win the fight. Now that we understand the core mechanics of combat, I have to say that I rather like it. It's not super complex, but I never wanted it to be. I actually get pretty stressed out in most RPGs combat. In fact, RPGs in general just stress me out sometimes. Not to like an insane degree, but having to decide what moves are best, what party members to bring, what items to have, and what moves to pick always scares me a bit. I get some of that here, especially later on, but thanks to the combat being a bit more simplistic with this rock, paper, scissors, which is the true first and best RPG, I was able to find a gameplay style I enjoyed later on, and stick with it. So I gotta say I personally enjoyed the gameplay, and this mechanism rather greatly. After this fight, we get our first new skill, which goes to Hero. It's Massage, but for some reason I don't equip it yet. I don't actually know how to, that's the reason. Going down, we meet Marie. How did she get here? Well, she canonically has teleporting powers, as stated through dialogue. Relax, you. How did you get here? It's not stated, but it's the only possible reason she can get to many of these save/healing stations throughout our journey. So it's what I believe and what I'm forcing you to believe too. We all compliment Marie and Hill before Basil lets us know his house is right down this way, and we're almost there. Upon arriving at the entrance of Basil's place, we come across a huge sprout mole. Wow, a convenient kind of boss that's like the enemy we've been facing, but bigger and tougher, almost as if to act as a final challenge to make sure we properly understand the mechanics of the fighting. Gotta love when a game does that. To show I've learned, I make the big sprout mole sad and then make Omori angry, so of that he'll do double damage. It will take a while, but soon this tactic I adapt and evolve into a more advanced version, which then becomes my primary strategy in combat. Before I actually get to do this double damage, we are taken out of the battle, ruining my perfect setup. We almost immediately go back into the fight, where Hero teaches us about the energy mechanic. I don't know why we had to leave the fight and ruin my setup to teach me this. It feels like a rather weird choice, but okay. About that energy mechanic. After each person attacks normally, 3 pop-up bubbles appear near them. Each one can be activated by pressing a direction, and that will cause a follow-up move to be performed involving the party member corresponding to the direction you press. For example, here I have Kel use a follow-up attack with Hero. This has them pass the ball between each other, which is his weapon, before attacking the foe. It's not really useful in this fight, but this follow-up attack does damage to all enemies in the combat. Using it here on the singular guy shows that I have no idea what I'm doing. I will slowly learn what each follow-up attack does to properly utilize them in combat, as well as further my previously mentioned future tactic. I also really like this mechanic and think it suits the game well. It furthers to make this party feel lively and like we're actually fighting together. And since not all of these follow-up moves are attacks, for example Aubrey following up by looking at Kel, who makes fun of her, causing her to get angry. It allows for some unique setups that can work with your playstyle or the needs of the current fight. As seen with that example, these follow-up moves also match the characters' personalities and bonds, which makes for some interesting interactions that help fuel the connection we feel from the party. Each follow-up does come at the cost of 3 energy, which can only be replenished by being attacked. This limitation stops these moves from feeling overpowered, while still letting the player have that sense of strength. It also helps to further make the combat not feel too simplistic, as you find what follow-up attacks best work for your attack style in the current fight. A mechanic which didn't overwhelm me, which is once again surprising for an RPG mechanic since I'm a little bitch baby. The game also attempts to teach me the power of Omori's release energy follow-up. This can only be activated if your energy meter is at the full 10 points. In it, all the characters attack, doing massive damage to all the enemies. This, coming at the cost of 10 energy, does make it a tough choice sometimes on what to do. Should you save up for it, or use the 3 energy to use a different follow-up move? On weaker enemies, it's typically better to just use the smaller follow-up move since they will likely be killed before you ever fully charge that energy. But for harder enemies and bosses, the choice becomes more difficult, and once again comes down to your playstyle. Another choice to be made that doesn't overwhelm me, and I think is a fun inclusion that helps to get out of scary situations, and feels very powerful after a lengthy, intense fight. Earlier, you might have noticed that I said the game attempted to teach me this power. You might not remember me saying that because that was a whole paragraph ago, but I did. I say attempt because my stupid self accidentally uses Omori's trip instead. I hit the wrong button, I'm so fucking stupid. Making me lose 3 energy, so that I don't get to see or know what this release energy is. Unfortunate, but I do get to actually do this anger versus sadness thing I tried to set up earlier. I'm sure that's cooler than me witnessing the release energy that I'm sure would have immediately ended the fight that proceeds to take me 2 extra rounds after this round. I'm really smart at playing this game, and I think that smartness will definitely continue as we play, and I'll never make a really stupid decision again. With that fight done, we finish Hero's training tutorial course. He also gives us a guide that I never opened, but rewatching my playthrough, it seems it would have told me what each follow-up attack does. A thing I keep wondering and get afraid to test later on because I never opened this damn book I forget exists. Wow, I suck at this game already. Hero also teaches that these follow-up attacks can get stronger later on. a thing I once again forget, and since I never opened the book, I am surprised by these changes later on. A good surprise though, so that's fine at least. We arrive at Basil's house, which is a shoe. Is that better than my stump house? That question right there is the most intense psychological question this game gets me to ask myself and challenge myself with. Basil, surprised, takes a photo of us, which comes out blurry, but he's not upset and instead says,
Well, that's okay. That gives a character.
"Look, he's being that sunflower self from before, where he always sees the positive. Look, the game's not just telling, it's showing. Show, don't tell. Classic writing rule alert. What? 10 out of 10 game. Give Basil that writing scholarship. He's going to Harvard." Is there a school known for good writing? The Google AI, which is 100% trustworthy and not an annoying feature at all, says it's the University of Iowa. Pack your bags, Basil, we're sending your ass to Iowa. Aubrey and Kel fight because that's the only thing they know how to do, causing Basil's photos to fall out of his album. None of them are damaged, and Basil obviously doesn't get mad because that would feel out of character. And even I know that despite only being around an hour into the game. Unless he had some deeply heavy emotions or trauma deep inside him, but I doubt it. We go inside Basil's house to help him put the pictures that fell out back into the album. This section activates my worst skill, memory. I know it was all of 56-ish minutes ago, but I have a bad memory, and I had to learn about flowers since then, so that's taking up my very minimal brain space. Thankfully, the game was nice enough to highlight where the photos needed to go, instead of me having to remember the sequence myself, which would have taken a very long trial and error with every possible combination. After fixing the photo album, Basil finds one more photo on the ground that must have fallen out. Basil looks at the contents of the photo and begins freaking out as this black aura surrounds him.
No, that can't be. Marie, she's...
The game suddenly gets creepy, showing a photo of a broken violin before we are violently shoved back into white space. A heartbeat also begins to get really loud as I wander through white space again, with the door to leave gone, leaving me to panic. That heartbeat is now as loud as mine as I cannot find the exit to this place. Now let me tell you, I spend the next 20 minutes wandering around white space aimlessly before realizing the menu now has a stab option, which makes me stab myself.
Why did I not do this about 10 minutes ago?
20 whole minutes wasted of me just wandering around. My pride was too big to actually just look up what to do for some reason, so I just wander around this empty room for 20 minutes. Perhaps this was my punishment for not telling Taffy I was playing their favorite game. Perhaps I deserved this. Nah, that can't be right. I actually did Taffy and myself a favor here. Wandering around the 20 minutes helped add to the atmospheric horror element, creating a sense of dread and anxiety in me so that I can relate to Mr. Omori here. And if Taffy were here, they would have said, "Riley, you have to stab yourself." That's certainly not going to look good on their permanent record. How will they ever get into the University of Iowa after being known for saying that? You're welcome, Taffy. Anyways, I do stab myself, which is probably what I would have done in real life if I were trapped in a permanent, never-ending white space. I do immediately apologize to Omori, though, and feel sadness for making him stab himself.
I'm sorry I did that to you.
Playing God and having control over someone hurts sometimes. Maybe I, the player, am the villain here. Maybe this is like Sans Me Gunner from Smash Bros. Game. It is making me feel bad. After stabbing myself, we get another cutscene similar to the one at the beginning of the game. In this one, it appears Basil, now flower crownless, who I now concluded was obviously that boy in the beginning one as well, and Omori looking at photos. Basil says,
These are all of our memories together. They're a little sad now.
Another mystery added to the already 7 ones going on now. We fade to black as the game returns with the text,
You see a boy sleeping in his room. What's his name?
"The boy's name is Tanjin."
No, this is me. I should name it myself.
I name him Riley and pretend he's a little me pre-coming out as a girl, so that I can further connect with this character. Also, random side tangent, when I connect to a male character, or have to play as one in a game where I name it myself, especially if they're younger, I immediately begin to headcanon them as a closeted trans girl. It's very strange, but kind of funny. Like, it makes sense I would do that. I'm just putting myself onto those characters, which the game is obviously trying to make me do by playing as them. It's still funny, though. In this game, I actively do that with 2 characters, though. Riley, or, well, this new Riley, not me. His name's Sunny, okay? I will sometimes call him Sunny. He is Sunny. Anyways, I begin to handcanon that with Sunny here, but I also do that with Basil. There's really only one aspect I connect or share with Basil, so it's a bit strange why I feel such a strong connection with him and see myself as him the most, but we'll discuss that more in the future. That little boy who is now me wakes up, and I realize I'm in the real world. I chalk up that previous encounter in the headspace as a dream, and begin to do real-life things everyone does, such as listening to my mom's voicemail reminding me to pack, not packing, looking at my to-do list, proceeding to be too depressed to do said to-do list. My stupid mommy also forgets to tell the electric company exactly when we're moving, so now the lights are out. It's like she knows I'm in a horror game. Our mom also reveals a bit of stuff in this call too.
Anyway, I know moving to a new place can be a little nerve-wracking right now, but I think a change of scenery will be positive for both of us. I know you haven't talked to anyone in a while, but you might want to say goodbye to your old friends before we leave. Kel has been trying really hard to get a hold of you ever since we put our house up for sale. He's been calling us every week for the past few months. He seemed a little lonely, seems. Maybe you should pay him a visit. Okay, that's it for now. Mommy loves you. Bye, Annie.
It's a noise a phone makes when you hang up. It seems my friends from Headspace exist in the real world too. I also don't personally make up people in my dream worlds or whatever that is, and have such exciting adventures as Omori. Sunny, wait, why am I named Omori in Headspace but Sunny here? Also, I'm white here. Well, I was white before, but like, I'm actually white here. Anyways, like Sunny, I have such exciting adventures in my dreams with my friends, such as working at Walmart with Matt and Taffy. Exciting dreams! I know what Sunny's Headspace dream represents now, obviously, but we won't be there for a while. But I wonder what my Walmart dream represents. Probably a metaphor for my cancer or something. Anyways, Riley is hungry, but when I attempt to go downstairs where I assume the kitchen is, Sunny tells me no. I guess I'm not hungry. I go back to bed and just hope I don't starve to death. Instead of being transported in Headspace as I expected, I'm still in my house. Thinking I just woke up again, I leave my room only to find that something is off now, with this red glow coming from the window. Also, now those stairs I refused to go down from before are even longer. Riley is still hungry, so I fight Sunny to go downstairs, finding a knife and black hands that appear to want to diddle me. Suddenly, a realistic hand comes for me from behind right when I wanted to turn back. The hand catches up with me, starting a combat. In this one, I'm afraid, which is an emotion I've never learned about. In the game, I mean. I know what fear is, obviously, in real life. The thing I'm fighting is called something. I try to attack, but it does nothing. I try to run, but I can't. I remember I have skills, though, and I use Calm Down, which heals me and gets me out of the fight. Finally, downstairs, confused on what's even real anymore, I can finally eat. I grab a knife, heat up some steak, and go ham on it. I guess the steak was laced, though, because it causes the game to become all weird and trippy. I throw up in the bathroom and suddenly hear banging on the door.
Should probably wash my hands. What the fuck?
The game's doing pretty well with the horror. The banging on the door and all this weird stuff happening while in this dark atmosphere is creating a nice ambience of terror that has me a little panicked, but still wanting to play more. Marie was at the door, and she looks very similar to the Headspace version. She asked me to open the door, and hell, I ain't leaving her outside in the middle of the night.
That is not my sister. Close the fucking door. Is that my sister?
Oh, the shit.
Go to bed.
I head to bed hoping sleep removes demons. This time I actually returned to white space, headspace, whatever, which, while atmospherically weird with the touch of creepy, I feel is 100% better than Demon Sisters in the real world. This obviously, basically, confirms that Headspace is a dream world. That's one question checked off. My next big one is why the hell I'm Omori here but Sunny up there. Bro made a dream OC that's just him with a different name. Thankfully, the door is back, so I can actually leave this place and won't be trapped for another 20 minutes. The door won't open. The computer has Hangman now. You have to find keys in Headspace and try and spell whatever word is down here at the bottom. Interesting side part of the game that I decide I might do if I'm interested. Something falls nearby after looking at it, like last time I was here. Well, the time before last, because the last time I was here, I just wandered around for 20 minutes. This time it's not a knife, though.
Oh, right here. Is it painting? Not a map. I love maps. That sure is a map.
This allows me to open the door so I can return to Headspace. My friends sure are thankful that I'm here, but they can't find Basil anywhere. Once again, they make my favorite character in trouble, like they know he's my favorite, so I'll feel real motivation. Outside my stump house, I find a blood trail leading to a key. That's right, I already got a key for Hangman, this one being A. You actually, if you go how the game wants you to, find these keys in alphabetical order, which is helpful if you're looking for them as you go, since you know when you've missed one. Pretty nice to do that, but as I've said, I'm not determined to find them all. More so just grab them if I happen upon them. This A is blocking the way, so it gets snatched. A is one of the letters I need, so no head is getting hanged this time. Instead of heading south, this time I go east.
There's so much to explore. I could go wherever I want. Freedom at last. Probably check on Basil, though. Or Marie.
We should go see Marie. She's been so worried about you. That freedom doesn't last long, though, because as soon as I head to the ladder at the end of this path, my friends tell me to go to Marie, removing my free will. We meet up with Marie, who is thankful we're okay. I guess we all just got reset to our starting locations after last night's photo sorting incident of whatever year we're in. I don't bloody know. Determined to find Basil, we decide to head to his house in hopes of finding him or a clue to where he went. Upon reaching Basil's garden, I notice one of his plants is dying.
Oh no! I'll water it for you.
This really nails into my mind that Basil absolutely is missing. Even from the short interaction I've had with him, I know he would never let this happen. In his absence, I decide to become Basil and water his plants for him. That's right, I'm kind and a good friend like that. Now do a news piece on me about how I'm the most bestest person in the world. Coincidentally, the one plant dying is a sunflower, the flower Basil connected to himself. Wow, imagery. Is that imagery? That's not the right literary tool. Wow, symbolism. That's what I meant. Double symbolism, because he's the sunflower and sunflower dead. Wow, that's just too much symbolism. My brain might explode. Also, Matt does call me Sunflower, so look at that. I'm definitely Basil, and that's why my connection feels so strong to him.
Oh my god.
You're from my drawing. Upon arriving at Basil's house, we see a hole in the floor, but the party doesn't really see anything out of the ordinary. Well, there doesn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary. Hero, there's a fucking hole in the floor, you bloody blind. Hero's got hole blindness. Clearly, Basil got sucked into this hole and got sent to the frickin' University of Iowa for his literary accomplishments. That's the first place we should be checking.
Let's go look for Basil in the vast forest.
We ain't gonna find him there unless the University of Iowa is there, but I'll play your silly games, game. Eventually, though, you're gonna have to stop treating the world like it's always happy and full of color. We head towards the vast forest, which takes me a bit to find, in hopes of finding Basil, who may have just run off. That's definitely what happened. Basil definitely hasn't been erasured. That doesn't sound right. Let me try that again. Oh no, Basil is officially missing. This seems to be Basil's erasure. That's the name of the video.